Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Islam Muhammad Musleh. Today I'm going to present about online requirements review based on reading techniques. This is our final project for software design and architecture subject. So this is my group mate. So the first topic that we are focusing is the architecture design of our system. So for our system, basically we choose the layer architecture design or architecture style. After quite some research, we found that layer architecture style is the best style for our system. So we choose that one. At first time, we choose the client server architecture style, but later on we realized that it doesn't fit with our system. So the architecture style is actually organizes a system into a set of layers where each of which provide a set of services to the layer above. For example, it is built from different layers. For example, the first one is here the interface layer, and then we have service interface, and then we have the database layer, where the for example, in this case, the service interface provides services to the user interface layer, and the user interface layer is the layer where with which the user interact. Besides that, the layer architecture style actually support the incremental development of subsystem in different layers. The reason that's why we choose this layer is because in this diagram the main architecture design is that the users, for example, for our case we have reviewer, review leader, and document author. They deal with the system through many layers, which are through web browser, which will display the interface of the system, and also the database that will let the user retrieve the data, and security function to protect users. And also in this diagram, user interact with the system through the server, which is MySQL for our case. In addition to all that, in layer architecture style, different components of the application can be independently deployed, maintained, and updated on different time schedules. Besides that, layer architecture style make it possible for team members to work in parallel on different parts of the application with normal dependencies. To elaborate, it also make it the testing when we are testing the component independently of each other. So the next part is the use case viewpoint, which my friend will present it.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. My name is Abdul Khalil Burhani, and today I will present you about the use case viewpoint of our project. Our project is an online requirement review which help people to better review the requirements in order to overcome the problems such as the inconsistency, overlap, and conflicts of the requirement which are existing in the documents. And this system is really important and very significant because it really save the times, and also it is more convenient than the manual reviewing the requirements. Within this system, we come up with the actors, those who interacting with the system, and the services or the use cases. Within this system, we have three actors, which are the reviewer, document author, review leader, and we have 11 services which are provided to these three users or actors. First, each of these user or actors should be registered to the system in order to interact with the system. First, the author or the document author, after registration, then he will be logging, and then he can create a new project. After he create the new project, he will upload the documents of the project in the system for reviewing, and then the review leader, which is already registered and logging, he will invite the reviewer to review the documents, and then he create a session for the reviewing of the requirements. After the session is created, then the reviewer will log into the system and then review the documents which are uploaded by the document author. And then based on the review document, he will generate a report which may consist of some of the problems after reviewing the documents. Maybe there are some inconsistency in the requirements, overlap in the requirements, conflict in the requirements. All this problem will be seen in the requirement during the requirement reviewing, and then the report will be generated. And after the report is generated, this report will be again reviewed or viewed by the review leader, by the reviewer, and by the document author, which is the result of all these reviewing the requirements.
This is Razak, so I will continue with the logical viewpoint. So, in the logical viewpoint, we have a lot of classes. So, as we present the system in the class diagram, so we can see there are a lot of classes and interfaces. So, the class diagram start from the the user profile with the ID and password and role to ID and password to identify the ID of user and the password, and the role to define which role of the user to goes to, whether it is document author or review leader or reviewer. So if the user log in as a certain role, so the system will direct that user to the certain role, to the certain, certain interface. So we have method, we have log in, we have log out, uh, we have change password for the user, we have upload avatar, update avatar, and we have forward password. Okay. uh, the user profile is related to the role, which is the role class, which we have the role as the attribute to identify the role name of the users. So in this class we also set a get and set class method for the roles in order to get the role or set the role of the certain user to another role. Okay, so this role is connected to three main classes, which is the document author, review leader controller, and reviewer controller. So this is three main class of the project, and we have a class named project. Inside the class project, we have name and ID to identify the project ID and project name. So in the project, it has the method get and set name of the project also, and get ID also. Okay, so and we have the SRS classes in order to contain on the classes on SRS. So in this class we have the name and ID also to identify the name of the SRS and the ID of the SRS. So the ID, for example, the ID of the project, ID of the SRS, and ID of the user is unique and cannot be duplicated. Okay, so we going to the one of the main among the three class, document auto controller. So in this class we have name, we have role, and we have ID. Okay, so in order to identify a certain document author, we have to identify by name and role and ID. Okay, in the method we have create project. This method is called when the document author wants to create a new project. Okay, update SIS. This one will be called when the document author, after creating the project, and he will upload the SRS document to in order to review it. Okay, and invite review leader. RN will stand for review leader. This method will be called when the document author click on invite review leader. Set project duration. So this one will set the time, the duration of the project in the certain period of time. And we have also the get name and set name here. So we have also get ID. This get ID means that get ID from the project, so we can refer to the project ID. So we also have get role from the role here, so we can see the connection, and we can get generated report. So from this generated report is actually sent by the review leader. So after compiling all the feedbacks, the review leader will send the report to this document author, and he will get through this method. Okay, we move to review leader controller. In review leader controller, we have the same attribute as name, role, and ID to identify a certain review leader. Okay, so for the method, we have accept invitation. This one to accept the invitation from the document author to enter to a certain project. So we have next reject invitation. uh, this is to reject the invitation from the document author invite into certain project. And we have invite reviewer. So after after accepting invitation, the review leader can invite reviewer in order to review the document. And we have set session. So this session is for the review leader to reviewer to review it. So the review leader can set the period of time, so reviewer can enter and review it. So we have next, we have add new checklist item. So this is for adding and modify the checklist. So we have delete, modify checklist item. We have delete checklist item, and we have edit, generate a report. Generated report means that when the reviewer send the feedback to the review leader, he will edit, he will delete some of the feedbacks, and he will remain some of the feedbacks. Okay, so we have also delete generated report, and we have generate report. This method is for generate all the feedbacks and send it to document author. Okay, so we move on to reviewer controller. So we have name, role, and ID. In this class, the method has accept invitation. As in the review leader, we have accepting and rejecting the invitation. Okay, so we have enter to project means that the reviewer click on enter to a certain project, so we can get the ID of the project, and we enter to those project to view. And the main method of this project is the review, is that the reviewer will enter to a certain project by the project ID, and the reviewer will review it, and the output is some feedback. Okay, and we have save feedback, we have delete feedback, and we have generate report. This is for modifying the feedback after reviewing, and we generate report and send it to a review leader as the last method. and we have the extra class for the admin controller. This is for the admin for managing the user. So we have name, we have role, and we have ID. So here we can have the method of add user to add the new user without registration. We have delete user to delete certain user. We have changed the user password. We have reset the user password in order to get the password to the user. Or we can have even we have block user to prevent user to enter to the system for a period of time. Okay, and we have the class notification to get the notification, any notification, for example invitation notification or block user notification or something, so it will notify to the certain user. Okay, let's move on. The auto interface, we have show notification, we have show the project list, show generated report, we have so all of this is just showing on the thing we have done in the controller. And for the review reader is also the same, and reviewer is also the same. So this is interface only for showing and displaying. Okay, for to continue the detail design. Okay, I will describe the most significant method of this system is that the review method. So this review method is for a reviewer enter to a project and review it. The main method of the system in general, and this is the reviewer and the main method in the reviewer in specific. So this method is called when the reviewer enter to a specific project and review the SRS document one by one. After the reviewing process completed, viewer come out with a fragment of feedbacks, and those feedback will be combined and generated in another method, which is the generate report. So the modifier for this method is public, and the input is the project ID in order to identify the project, which project is reviewing, and the output is the feedbacks.
The next diagram, which is which we have in our system, is the component diagram, which is the components of the system. With this system, we have the components of user and the server. The user is someone who is interacting with the system, and server is who is providing the services to the user. The user, here we have the first component is the user interface, which is the first step, or the first time the user is interacting with the system. And we have the bootstrap, which is consisting of the CSS, HTML, and JavaScript, which is the creation of the system. And we have the user management, and this user management is managing by the server management. And within the server management, we have the database, which all the records and the data of the user are recorded in the database, and this database is interacting with the server, or the server is interacting with the system and providing services to the user. Okay, thank you for watching.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is Ismail Fizi. I am going to present my part activity diagram. This section contains the details process of the system and how they communicate, and focus of the runtime behavior of the system. So the first page is the sign up page, where if every user is required to register before they log in and use the system. When a user wants to sign up, he or she needs to enter his username, email address, password, gender, and roles. Okay, the second page is login or sign in page. This page is used to authenticate a user and direct him to the right page. In this page, a user is required to enter his username, password, and role. If he is not registered or enter wrong username or password, so a role, the system will show an error message and will not let him enter. This is the create project. So the create project, this page is only for document author and will be accessed when a user role is author. In this page, an author can click the create new project button. A pop-up menu will appear. Okay, the other one is upload SRS. This page enable the document author to upload a new SRS documents in Word file. Okay, the other one is choose review leader. This option let documents author select a review leader for sending the document. The other one, get generated feedback. Okay, this page is also for the SRS document author, where he can see the report of every single project if the reviewer leader already sent to him. Okay, the other one is enter to project. This is the home page of the reviewer leader, where he can start a new project sent by the document author. Okay, next is edit checklist. Okay, this page is also accessible by the review leader only. In this page, the reviewer leader is able to customize both checklist based reading and respective based reading techniques for the specific project. Okay, the other one is invite reviewers. In this page, the reviewer leader can find and invite as many reviewers as he wants for the documents to review. He can also assign to any reviewer any technique from the CBR or PBR. Okay, next, start session. Reviewer leader can start session in this page after the assigned reviewers for the documents to review. In start session, he can set the start date and the end date for the document to be reviewed. Okay, the other one is get reviewer feedback. Okay, in this page, reviewer can see all the feedback of all reviewers who sent to him. He can then compile and send it back to the document author. Okay, the other one is reviewer. Okay, enter to project. This is for the role with the reviewer, where he can start reviewing an SRS document. Okay, next is reviewer. In this page, the reviewer can review requirements and save this feedback. The other one is generate report. That's good. Okay. Okay, this one is the generate report. Okay, in this page, reviewer can generate feedback. he give already for each single requirements he can deem still edit. The last one is send generated report. Reviewer can deem send the feedback to the respective reviewer leader. That's all for me. Thanks very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa rahmatullahi.
Assalamu alaikum. This is again Isla Muhammad Musleh. So this is the deployment diagram of our system. So the deployment diagram are actually used to visualize the topology of the physical component of our system. So for our case, the web browser will be used by the customer or the user of our system, and in terms of the web server, we will be using Apache to enable the customer to save or retrieve the data in the database. So for the database, our system will be using the MySQL database. So at first the user will be accessing to the database through the Apache web server. We choose the Apache web server through XAMPP because it is free and available online, and it is open source. Okay, and then I think that's all from me. I'll pass it to my friend to continue.